His book is here. When he was 17 years old, our first guest rose to fame as the runner-up on American Idol Season 7, captivating millions with his angelic voice. Behind the scenes, he was struggling with a truth he feared would destroy everything.
It took him 13 years to come out and live authentically, and today he's sharing his raw and powerful journey in his new book, Devout, Losing My Faith to Find Myself, which comes out today.
I love that. Please welcome David Archuleta. There he is. Hello. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Nice to meet you. Doing great. Great to meet you.
Can you divulge what sign are you? We're talking about astrological signs.
I am a horse.
You're a horse? Oh,
yeah,
this is your year?
The metal horse, apparently. It's the fire horse this year, yeah.
But a horse is a horse.
It's a horse. My mom was also born in the year of a horse, so yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, you're starting off the year very strong here.
Oh, yes.
With the launch of a new
Gosh.
book.
Yeah, today.
Happy Pub Day.
Thank you.
As they say in the business.
What a day. You know,
Great day to be alive.
Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. Mardi Gras, start of Ramadan. There's like so many things, today. And then my book.
Yeah.
So I take that as a good, what is that called?
A good omen or a good
omen, thank you.
Or a good sign. A good
energy behind it, absolutely.
First of all, great title. I think it aptly sort of describes everything that you put in it, which is your journey. Why is now the right time to publish this book?
I would say it's taken me a few years to be comfortable with myself. A lot of it is about learning how to be comfortable with who I am. And I came out in 2021. After knowing that about myself since I was like in second grade, knowing that, oh, okay, I'm different and I don't understand what I'm supposed to think of myself, and you just keep it to yourself. And then I started learning in church that it was bad and like this is evil, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm evil and bad. So you just kind of like, you don't know what to do. You internalize it. And so it's just a story about coming. It starts, the introduction was the first thing I wrote, and it was some guy came up to me in the airport in Utah who also grew up in my religion as a Latter-day Saint, and he just asked me, he's like, how did you do it? And I was like, how did I do what? And he's like, how did you come out? He's like, I'm going straight to meet with my bishop from the airport about this. And I asked him, I said, well, have you had suicidal thoughts? And he's like, I have been for the last month. And I talk about my experience with that in my book, and I just realized this isn't just an isolated experience. This is something that a lot of people in the same environment and situation who are queer go through. And so it's kind of my story of saying, okay, this is how I did it. But it's not just that. I talk about family trauma and family dynamics, and American Idol.
And all the things.
A lot of things.
Right. You were engaged 3 times.
I was,
to women. And you thought that you could suppress it, and the women knew. Is that true?
Yeah.
Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, I tried to be upfront with them, and since they held the same belief as I did, we all at the time looked at it as, when I would say, like, I let some of my church leaders know, I'm like, I think I might be gay. And I've landed more on like the spectrum of like bisexual now, but I was like, I think I might be gay. And they would say, you're not gay. You just struggle with same-sex attraction. And they're like, there's a difference. And they're like, gay is a sin because you accept it. Same-sex attraction is acknowledging it's there, but you don't give into it. And there's still like hope that you'll be okay. I was like, okay. So it's kind of like learning how to unravel that and realize, because my moment when I realized to come out was through a spiritual experience with prayer.
Really?
And it was like when I was at my lowest of lows, and I was just like, God, please, if you're really there, please change me. I'm tired.
Change you how?
Change me, sorry, there's a gospel song
I love it.
that I listen to all the time.
I'm not going to stop David Archuleta from singing on our show.
Change me, oh God, make me more like you. Yeah, it was a Tamala man, and I used to listen to it all the time because I believed someday God could change me. And then God said, David, stop asking me this. And I was like, huh? Like the cat meme, huh?
Right.
And it said, you've been asking me this since you were 12 years old, and you see that I'm not gonna change you because there's nothing to change.
Right.
And it's time for you to see that. And I was just like, that's not what I've been being taught at church every week, you know?
Well, that part, church every week. Also, you grew up in a Latino household, as did I. And, you know, when I told my mother I wanted to go to therapy, she was like, "Ay, mija, just go speak to the priest." And I was like, "I'm not his type." But also, like, but also, like, I think it's hard when you are surrounded by people who you love and who you believe in. And as a child, you're like, "You are my beacon." And they're telling you the exact opposite of what you feel in every cell of your body. So how did you square those two things?
Yeah, because I think you learn to be out of touch with your instincts sometimes. It's confusing because in my church they always talked about this power of personal revelation. And when I got my personal revelation, then they're like, "Oh, well, that doesn't count." And I was like, "But this is the strongest I've ever felt, like this, like that power of like the divine and being connected to it and feeling loved for who I am and being seen and by the great creator, whatever that may be." And so I just had to trust my gut and say, you know what, I almost chose not to be here. And if that's wrong to choose to stay like the answer I got, then so be it. And I feel like your spiritual connection with the divine is really personal. And it looks different for everyone because there's diversity in God's creations or whatever it may be, the divine's creation. And so each relationship is going to be different. But you know, rather than looking at it as something that was evil or sinful, that's what I'm hoping too with the book, to show people it's not that far from what you are as well and what you value. And we have so much more in common than what we have different.
What do you hope people take away from reading the book? Do you hope that it changes them, their life, you know, their path?
I just hope that it brings more understanding so that we can support each other more, and that there's more compassion but support, so that there's more inclusion in our communities as well for what we've always been taught and trained to be afraid of, when it's unnecessary to be afraid of. And really there's things that are beautiful and to celebrate about the queer community or anything else that may make us unique and diverse as being human.
Here. Beautiful. That's a wonderful way to end, even though I don't want this conversation to end. I'd love for you to keep singing, but I see your team is like, he hasn't warmed up. Watch it.
I'm here. That was with Broadway.
Thank
Color
you
Purple.
so much, David Archuleta. Listen, we have a lot of famous people come on this couch. You, by far, have been the talk of the 10th floor where all the students hang out. So,
You're so sweet.
you may see a line of people, strangers, waiting to talk to you, which is always a good thing.
Everyone here's been so sweet.
Well,
by the way. I
the
love
morning is
everyone's
young. Give us
energy.
some time. Devout, Losing My Faith to Find Myself comes out today. Pick up a copy wherever books are sold. Congratulations.
Thank
truly.
you so much.
Truly.
Thank you.